Meanwhile, former President Trump is back in court for additional testimony in his New York criminal trial. This case, you'll recall, is related to allegations that he falsified business documents to cover up hush money payments made to an adult film star while he was running for office. The court ruled that Trump must be present for these proceedings, even as that Supreme Court hearing was going on. Let's listen.
Would have loved to have been there, but this judge would not allow that to happen. I should be there, but he wouldn't allow it to happen. I think he puts himself above the Supreme Court, which is unfortunate, isn't it?
Trump arguing there that he should have been in Washington. His longtime friend and the former head of the National Enquirer, David Pecker, is back on the stand for a third day of testimony. I want to bring in now CBS News national correspondent, our own Errol Barnett, who's outside of the courthouse for us in Manhattan. So, Errol, what are we learning from today's testimony?
Hey there, Lana. Great to see you. Well, Mr. Trump has left the courtroom for a scheduled lunch break, and this morning was filled with two developments. On one hand, prosecutors are alleging 4 additional gag order violations from this week, which includes this morning's stop by the former president to a construction site here in Manhattan, where he took questions from reporters and was asked his opinions of a witness who continues to testify, David Pecker. And Mr. Trump said that he's a nice guy and had very gentle comments towards him. Prosecutors believe that's tantamount to witness tampering by perhaps signaling to Pecker that he shouldn't perhaps reveal too much about their very close relationship, which goes back decades. The judge has not yet decided on what to do about the previous 10 violations of the gag order, so that decision is expected at some time. Second, we heard more from David Pecker, really getting into specifics, not just about the personal relationship he had with Donald Trump as a private citizen, where he agreed to catch and kill negative stories about him leading up to the 2016 election, but we heard specifics as it relates to Playboy model Karen McDougal. He says that a scheme was hatched in 2016 in which he would pay, or at least Michael Cohen, who was Donald Trump's lawyer at the time, would pay Karen McDougal a certain amount of money to obtain the rights to her story about an alleged affair. Pecker, who was a publisher of the National Enquirer at the time, would then agree to hold onto that information and kill it, not release it. These specifics will eventually lead the jury to understand how Mr. Trump was a part of this scheme. And most specifically, in Pecker's testimony from today, he said that he called Michael Cohen, told him we finalized this agreement with McDougal, and the contract was bulletproof, and it had been consulted with a campaign attorney. And this is germane as it relates to the former president. Pecker testified that Cohen said, quote, "The boss will take care of it," as it relates to the payment. And that directly implicates Donald Trump. So all of that has been unfolding this morning. And Lana, we don't expect Pecker's testimony to finish today. It could very well spill into Friday before Donald Trump's lawyers get their opportunity to cross-examine. So he could be the sole witness this week before we get to the next witness.
And Errol, in another development today, a federal judge just denied Trump a new trial after he lost that defamation case, which you also followed, that one against E. Jean Carroll. The judge upheld the decision that Trump is liable for $83.3 million. So tell us, Errol, how all this plays into the larger legal challenges for the Trump team.
Yeah, it's all fascinating to watch this happen in real time, right? You've got the Supreme Court deciding on presidential immunity. You've got this first ever criminal trial of a former president behind me. And what we also heard today from a federal judge was that the Trump effort that we've seen on all of these legal fronts to delay and postpone and appeal every single decision is coming to an end as far as that defamation decision. Recently, Trump's team appealed the decision. Judge Lewis Kaplan, a real no-nonsense federal judge who had very little patience for Donald Trump inside the courtroom, you may remember, has ruled, and in his words, said, quote, "Mr. Trump's argument is entirely without merit, both as a matter of law and as a matter of fact." Donald Trump's lawyer in that front, Alina Habba, says they will appeal that to the circuit court. So that legal drama continues.
All right, Errol Barnett, thank you.